Check, check. Good morning, sir. Or I think it's better for me to say good night, sir.
Yeah, GM to you. How are you?
Very good, sir. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. Let me just get this posted everywhere, and we could get started in a second.
Absolutely. I'm reaching out to a few communities as well, same time.
Awesome. GM, so I think we could get started if you're ready.
I am, sir. Always ready.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm Slade with Hollow World and part of the core team. And Carrie, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Absolutely. Hey guys, this is Carrie. I gotta say I'm in charge of the vibes, but currently the vibes wasn't so good, so that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to come on board on the stage again and connect with you guys and keep you guys in the loop. And alongside with me, that is Slay. So we gotta make this space and happy and fun and entertaining for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, do we have any major updates we could hand out this week? I think there's a major one, but is it coming this week still? Do you know?
I do. It's soon actually. So there's actually two big news coming out. Coming along with Hello World, what we done in the past week or so. One of which is actually we starting round four for our voting campaign. So we've already put up 100K of crystals for our new training events. So it's actually a first come first serve basis. I think currently still got about 380 something left. So time is ticking, and I encourage you guys to get on the website and check it out. Obviously, is one transaction for 50 crystals, and trade on the Hello World marketplace. So it's pretty easy and simple for you guys to do. And it's a free crystal for you to grab, and limited supply only, and it will be ending soon. So of course, check it out. Stay tuned with that.
Definitely, but I was talking about there's a major update coming, and I think we're internally excited about it. Do you know if that's going to be this week for sure, or maybe next week? Do you have any details on that?
I'm sort of getting a final timeline from the product team too, but this is something that has in our incubation for a really long time. To moving along with our product horizon, obviously, our current product landscape has been um, introducing to you guys for such a long time, and we've gathered a lot of feedbacks, and we've got a lot of stats on how we can position our products for the next level, literally. So there's a lot of stuff for us to do now. Well, the timeline I've got is this week or early next week. I'm not sure. Is that the same timeline, sir?
Yeah, so it's a little up in the air, but it's going to be one of our biggest updates in a while. Is that fair to say?
I would say so. Yes, I would say so definitely. But I don't want to get you guys too excited. Of course, we're going to be cover a lot of this thing for our next events and next shows, when our big updates coming up. But essentially, there will be quite a lot of like updates and upgrades on the current product landscape. For instance, such as the PFP live streaming, avatar-based content creations, and AI powered motion tracking too on top of that, potentially. So yeah, just stay tuned with the big updates coming in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be our biggest update that we've ever done. And part of that makes it harder to kind of narrow in on a singular date. we're clearly trying to launch it like as soon as possible, but because it is such a massive, massive update with some stuff you've never even seen before, we gotta be careful about the dates.
We gotta be. So that's why I wouldn't say we are sort of reluctant, but we're sort of holding back a little bit. I don't want to get you guys too excited, but it will be coming in soon, very soon.
Yeah, definitely. And so we're all excited about that. And then moving on, what about general AI stuff? Anything get you excited this past week in AI?
Oh boy, there's tons of stuff. Where do we start off from?
I mean, I could start it off. There's been some like hyper realism like presenters. I don't know if you saw that. I think they're calling it Flex or something. I've been interested where that's going because it seems like a lot of companies want that kind of hyper realistic where it almost looks like a real person like talking about their product but isn't a real person. Did you see any of that this week?
I did, but I'm not sure if I'm saying the same thing as you did. But I'm checking out a lot of like content creation stuff, and they're literally so surreal. Like I couldn't even like I zoom in, nearly to 1 pixel. Now I'm exaggerating, of course, but I zoom in quite a lot. I still couldn't tell like the real from the AI generated contents, and they're so good. And it's like 4K motion sensor and capturing all of those facial expressions and everything else and on top of that. So they're literally amazing for like obviously we're in sort of in a content creation area too. So that would be a huge bonus in terms of helping us with workload and everything else when it's becoming publicly beta and everybody can start accessing it.
Do you think that people are going to be okay and like accepting with like these new kind of hyper realistic AI influencers when they're kind of, I don't know, when they're saturated? Let's say like, a million videos are coming out a day of people using these AI generated influencers. Are they going to be okay and like normal, or will people still value like, I want to see a real person?
I think the trend will be like there definitely gonna be some hype in the beginning, and there will be some like really trendy like potentially movies, of course blockbusters and around the world and probably by James Cameron or some other hot shot there. But moving down the track and people will get sort of if people have the ability to distinguish the real from the fake, I wouldn't say they're fake, but the real from AI, like I think at some stage they will like get sort of fatigued. Obviously, they still want to come back to nature. They still want to connect with something that it's human generated, and they want some level of human interaction there. But if they couldn't tell the difference between the real from AI, then it's like I think they're much more enjoyed in terms of how they viewing or going through those contents, regardless how it was presented to them.
And that's crazy. With this week's updates, I feel like we're getting closer to where people can't tell if it's actually AI video or not.
I can
How
tell
long do you
so.
think we are? How I know. Well, how long do you think we are until like we can't tell?
I have to say I'm sort of already there, but it's just like the only reason that I'm sort of doubting this video, yeah, it's just because you know um the context wasn't too like ideal. So the other day um I was seeing one of those off-road truck and was going through a really big ditch, and it was incredible. And that graphic was so surreal, and I couldn't tell whether it was AI or not. A matter of fact, it wasn't even occurring to me that this thing was actually generated by AI. And but that's the sort of like first impression. I'm like, oh, this track is so cool. I really want that because I'm a auto fan and I love all kinds of trucks and stuff. But then later I saw one of those comments saying that there's
I
no.
think you're covering your mic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's now better.
Yeah, you're all good now.
Okay, so later I saw one of those people in the comment section that were saying that there's no tire track in the in the graphic. I'm like, okay, oh no, this is actually AI generated. So I'm already up to a point where I couldn't even tell whether it's AI or whether it's real, right? So I'm sort of at that stage now already. So it's not like back in the days 3 or 4 years back, and when we see something that we can tell like whether or not those are AI generated or like human made or photoshopped or whatever. But now I don't have that ability anymore, man. They're too cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you think it'll eventually like social media sites will kind of have AI generated technology built in, so it'll tell you beforehand, like, hey, this is like AI generated, or no?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, if you going through TikTok or I don't know Instagram, I'm not too big on Instagram, but they will have those tags and saying, those contents are AI generated. But I think it's at the end of the day, it's up to the creator's discretion whether or not he's wanting to be able to post it online with this tag. Because I don't think the technology is able to distinguish the real from the fake, the real from AI, right?
Yeah, and I think it kind of brings in the question too, kind of what does AI generated even mean? Because like if it's a 3D model and AI generated, like you couldn't tell if it's AI generated or kind of animated in a studio. So it's like, what are we really talking about here? Are we really talking about when humans are AI generated? Is that the differentiator that we want?
That's too big, man. I mean, probably will if we gonna go any further, then there will be some discussion around this topic. But again, I mean, every time we talk about AI, there's always that bright side, and there's always that I wouldn't say downside of it, but there's definitely some like connotation that people needs to discover more and have more discussion and have more regulations or potentially framework on what it potentially could mean to the people out there to be able to make sure that everything that AI is doing is within a reasonable control area. So it's not like what we see in the movies and all those AI and robotics and just going crazy. Yeah. So and this is essentially what I wanted to touch on because I really do think obviously in our current like financial market we already had a few $1 trillion market cap companies. You got Apple, you got a few others, but and people always talking about what could potentially be the next $1 trillion company, right? I mean, there are definitely going to be a few coming out from like AI area. There could be humanoid that's really helping out with daily chores and everything else, and I suppose there will be not just one but a few $1 trillion company from that, and consequently there will be discussion and disputes around those topics. But I'm always hoping for the bright side, and but I'll pay for it. I mean, if there's one coming up, and I really need that. I really need that assistant.
Yeah, definitely. And Elon say recently that he believes that the humanoids are going to be that $1 trillion company, but he also believes there's going to be more humanoids than humans because humans will probably want more than one humanoid in the household. So you're actually going to have a few, and then manufacturers are obviously going to have thousands as well. So they're going to be huge.
I reckon too. I reckon too. But alongside with the big side, the big updates from the traditional Web2 companies too. So I think it will be good to like keep on a up to date information on what are those big companies are doing. For instance, Figure O2 is one of the other I reckon one of the other humanoid that's been publicly released, and they are sort of working autonomously at BMW plant in Spartanburg. So I've been to Spartanburg, and they were one of those very traditional factories and back in the day, so very prestigious there too. So and that's for BMW and with Figure 2, and I reckon there's a few companies working on human right. Have you checked out any information on that, or are you a fan, brother?
I haven't even heard about that. So what are they doing exactly?
They're making personal assistant humanoid. So essentially helping out with your daily chores, doing laundries, washing your dishes, and cleaning your house. Take care of baby if necessary, but probably not. Hopefully not. And yeah, that's called Figure 02.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about that, but those kind of things just make me think about Hollywood a little bit because I think about everyone's individualized kind of specialized knowledge and how people are going to start doing things with that, and I think that's where kind of the characters on Hollywood come into play because it's everyone's ability to kind of put their knowledge into an AI and then letting it talk with people who could help.
Absolutely, I do agree. And and the other day I was checking out one of those um, KOL influencer on Twitter, and this I think is really interesting because this influencer was actually giving a guide on building an AI-powered referral engine that grows your customer while you sleep. So essentially, you're doing this business like it's all AI-powered. That's helping you to do all those works for building up the tractions while you just like go on and recharge yourself. So he was saying like use referral candy for referral program customization and tracking, and implement viral loops for AI optimized referral campaigns and analytics. So he was literally like, obviously we're in this Web3 area, and in everything we do, quite a lot of things we do, we try to bring our products onto a mass adoptions. So user growth and traction building, that's always been our core issues, and our core campaign focus there too. Now, what's interesting is because even though AI, like robotics and everything else, has been developing, but there's a comprehensive, literally comprehensive AI-based, AI-powered traction building tool is already existing. So I'm still a little concerned that when this thing really taken off and we don't even have a job anymore, man. That would be the thing, yeah.
Yeah, well, at least in its current state, AI kind of seems generalized to me, and I think that's what kind of makes Hollow World special. Is you could make it individualized based on your Twitter, eventually other social platforms, and you're creating a AI that represents you and has your knowledge. And I think that's where kind of the specialty comes into play. It's like these generalized AIs are cool, but I think eventually everyone's going to have a kind of AI link tree in their profile, or maybe it'll be Hollow World, and that'll link to your personalized AI that has all your knowledge and can interact with people and like grab their emails for you and kind of become that second version of you before you actually interact with them.
Absolutely. I think that's where we're going to. So fingers crossed for Hollow World and our team, and I'm actually super excited for our new product launch and our big updates. And actually, so sorry to spill the beans for you guys, but I think we're at the stage, and we always wanted to bring you guys on board and saying, sharing some of your comments, some of your critics about our products and or recent updates or anything at all with regard with Hollow World or don't. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's always good to connecting with you guys, to listen to your questions and listen to your comments and advice. So yeah, you guys feel free and to raise your hand, and Slay and I will bring you guys up on the stage and talk about it more.
Yeah, definitely. And on this topic of kind of like specialized knowledge, it kind of makes you kind of think about how to protect it too through IP, right? Like if everyone has kind of the same AI that they're all accessing, it's all general knowledge. When you design your own and you give it everything that you know, it kind of becomes important to protect that as well.
I do agree, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be really cool. Like you're gonna be able to talk to like I don't know if there's like a product specialist and you're designing your product, you could talk to his AI and be like, hey, can you like give me some advice? How would you do this? And then get like basically his exact advice because all his knowledge is in the AI and get that unique perspective instead of just like the general kind of chat GPT response.
Indeed, indeed. No wonder how that response will be.
Yeah, definitely. And then being able to create content with it too. I think just in general, we've seen a lot of content creation apps, but they seem very singular use right now, where it's like one scene, and even like the AI I've seen where it could even like use your actual image or video to create more content from. It seems like all it really does right now is animate the mouth, and I think I'm excited to see like the future kind of iterations of this. As they say, it's like AI today is the worst it will ever be, and I think when content creation becomes easily made for everyone, like where they don't need video editing skills, I think it becomes really interesting.
I do agree. I think this is still early stages. I think those bots or those AI engines are still sort of need more training for themselves to be able to understand how the operators and to understand operators mindset and always the personas, the players, and everything else to be able to create something that really generic on his own term, rather than just moving around with the mouses and everything else. but still early stages, and I already see some options out there in the market, and they giving out different solutions to for the content creation process, especially in the back end, and how those AIs are actually training themselves. And so yeah, fingers crossed for the future with AI content creation too.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, I think like if everyone can create content right now, like if everyone had, let's say, the perfect AI video editing tool and the perfect like AI, like just video in general, so they could create content for TikTok and everything. It kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, so what's going to stand out there? And I think it's who can deliver the best information. Like, is information the kind of end game of everything? Like, who has the best info if we're all creating content?
I honestly don't know because there are going to be quite a lot of like niche market coverage on different like literally different industries, and there's different areas of categories that AI is potentially is able to cover. But I think let me just put it out this way. I think what AI cannot do is like something really human based sort of interaction what we need, such as um, news broadcasting maybe, because like sometimes like I hear news from AI, it just doesn't really penetrate to me, right? The level of magnitude on what sort of news that we potentially could be, or interaction with a psychology physicist, or therapist that you don't want an AI to talk. You don't want to talk to a AI based therapist, right? I mean, just well, does it work? Right. So, but I do agree with you on that point where sometimes how do we distinguish a good contents from the bad contents? I mean, literally, I don't know. I mean, what's the solution there? Right.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna come down to like who has the best information. I think if everyone's saying the same thing, then it just comes down to like who's saying the best, like who has the best, deepest insight, and that will come down to like the human touch, I guess, because all AI is gonna be spitting out something similar, where and it's gonna be our job to say like this is why it's different.
I reckon. Yes, sir. I do agree. But let's see how it's gonna perform a little bit differently for the market too. Because I'm sure there's tons of talented people out there, smart people out there trying to check out and the good product and trying to build a good product for AI generated contents on that area on AIGC there. So and more than happy for you guys to come on stage and share and connect with us and let us know what's been happening. And besides AI, I know the market is really tough in the past few weeks or so, and there's always been rumors saying that there was interest rate ups and downs, and with the Feds, and there was discussion on that pretty seriously too. And there was market that was sort of like, I wouldn't say it's a black swan event, but there was a market retraction that was really really big, and but as of right now, it's rebounding back, which is a good sign for us. Yeah, so I know the market has been tough. Hopefully, you guys are covering your backs really good, and but more than happy to talk about anything more there.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about the markets in general right now? I see Bitcoin is at 58,000 right now, 58.5 basically. I'm generally bullish on Bitcoin, but me bullish is just like long-term view. I have no idea what's going on with Bitcoin, anything short-term. So do you have any ideas there?
I reckon there will be huge opportunity for Bitcoin there. Obviously, everybody know how what potentially could be the situation for US dollars depegging. Obviously, there's already quite a lot of discussion on that too. Just in case, if one of those black swan scenario would happen with the Feds and with the interest rate, and obviously the interest rate at states is really, really huge at this stage, and if that really sort of broken down, then what could potentially mean to the property market around the world, and what potentially mean to the financial stability around the world? Obviously, it's a very, very complex and sophisticated infrastructure. But I think at that stage, people will be recognizing more value onto Bitcoin. And I do agree with the Bitcoin phenomenon and the future outlook for Bitcoin too. But to me, I'm actually a ETH holder, and I got a lot of the ETH was locked in with EigenLayer with that restaking, and I swear I never do that stuff again. And goodbye, is, and this is it. I'm changing my allegiance to Bitcoin anymore. So this is the end of me for Ethereum, unfortunately.
That's funny. I actually have a question about Ethereum. So recently I've been noticing, obviously everyone's on Sol now for the meme coins and everything, but without NFTs, what does Ethereum really have? I feel like Sol is potentially going to flip ETH. Do you feel the same way, or am I just crazy?
I think you got some really good bases there too, sir. I gotta be honest with you because I think let's check out what ETH and Solana what they represent, right? I mean, they're two separate. I don't want to say they're two separate countries with different ideologies. It's like Soviet Union versus United States back in the days. But essentially, there was so the problem with is was very obvious, right? I mean, you got a lot of layer two solutions, and there's some new layer two solution on top of is, but same problem occurred, and those layer two solutions are very, um, they're not progressive enough, and they were just doing okay, and the prime day for Arbitrum is gone, and ZK Sync got some like issues there, and OP is not doing a good job, let alone with a few other layer two options. So overall growth for is it just stay right there. It's not going anywhere. As a comparison, Solana been through the ups and been through the downs, but layer two on Solana it's still very early stage, and everybody's talking about Solana layer two there too. With that layer one for Solana, it's already big enough of ecosystem, right? And it's taking away a lot of like projects and developers and communities around the world. Well, they used to have quite a lot of like foundational support, but I don't suppose they have too much of a support at this stage now. But there's a lot of the rumor has it, a lot of traditional bankers and back now with Solana's obviously Solana was more have more of a Western um, have more of a Western position there, and so well, and it has been in the market for such a long time. Used to be POW, now it's pure proof of stake, and there's a lot of change and there's a lot of consensus talk there too. So I think the comparison will be like, so East is like elder brother. He's got everything. He's got his track records. But he's coming at a stage where it's sort of like he's trying to do better, but it might be too difficult for him to perform better. Whereas Solana is the young brother, and he's at his prime day. He's matured, and he's tough, he's strong, he got the speed, he got the will, he got the might, he wanted to do something better, so he's trying to um, do better than Ethereum. I think that's me. So how I think about it. So essentially, but I'll withdraw all of my ETH and put it on Bitcoin or potentially a few others.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very interesting way to put it. I really like that. The way I was thinking about it was not so much like that, more so just from a branding perspective. And branding, I remember even a year ago, if you even mentioned Solana, you were like a degen. Like anyone who mentioned it was kind of like below Ethereum, where Ethereum people were on the high horse. And if you touched Solana, you were super, super degen. But as the NFT use case kind of died down in this bear market for NFTs, Solana just got more and more traction. And then they got these meme coins. And now all Ethereum people are on both. They're on Solana and Ethereum. But now it's like you're not a degen anymore if you're on Solana. You're just like you're playing around with everything, you're having fun. And that was like a huge change in the public perception of Solana, where it used to be like anyone on it is kind of a loser. But now it's like not like that at all. And so I'm kind of seeing that change. I'm like, huh, that's very, very interesting. 'Cause that's a hard change to do from a branding perspective.
Interesting. I actually do agree with your version of that too. But I wanted to discover just a little bit more. I mean, 'cause we always say indigenous, right? I mean, this word has been in the market. This slang has been in the market for such a long time. People always talking about it. Sometimes there's a different interpretation and connotation to that. I mean, besides, I wouldn't argue with the connotation of loser. Maybe sometimes or when it's at the inception of it, but like to me, like if I call somebody a degen, then it's like, okay, this guy was doing something that other people is not currently doing. Probably he's doing something that's really really niche market, but had huge upside, huge potentials. That's sort of me interpreting, try to interpret the meaning of degen or degen. So I'm not sure is that the correct understanding of it, or what's the proper understanding of degen at this stage, sir?
No, I think that's the correct understanding. I just think a year ago, not anymore, but a year ago, it was like really. It was like if there's like layers of degen, if there's a spectrum, Solana was on the lower end of degens. Used to be, not anymore, but that's what
Not
it seemed
anymore.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I do agree. Yeah, there's a lot of there. I reckon there was a lot of this gene was really popping up really good onto the top tier exchange too from the Solana ecosystem, before the prime days of Solana, not like what it is now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be all about ETH up until recently, up until this change Solana has made. And it's not so much the change that they made in the technology or anything, but it's like the public perception of Solana. As that changed, because I'm not too much of like a degen myself or like going for those 100x's. I don't normally do that. And it seemed like Solana was the place to do that, but now it almost seems normal. And so now I'm coming around to Solana myself.
I gotta change my my taste for Solana now. So I just hope like Eigenlayer can like give back all of my ETH, and I'm cashing out. I don't want those points anymore.
So what does
Yeah,
that
I'm
even
doing
do?
Solana.
Is it just like a place to stake your ETH?
Well, yeah, well, there's a lot of restaking options. It's like DeFi's and in 2021, but obviously it's the data availability layer. So in the structure side is sort of different. I read through some of the articles and stuff, but I've done some research for Eigen, and a few others alongside with it, such as Renzo and a few other Binance Labs based or backed restaking options, and there used to be huge hypes on that one. It's like everybody's waiting for a DeFi Summer 2.0 happening. And even though like people know the liquidity issue with DeFi, and the liquidity wasn't really enough, but that used to be the hype. But again, they got the mainline, and but that was it. So wasn't doing much of. They gotta do better, man. I mean, just they're the big brother of the market. So if they perform well, then the entire category of risk taking will take off. If they don't, then it's like it's the dead end. So so everybody in the risk taking area is sort of looking up to Aiken Layer at this stage, and they're not doing big of a job enough, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the sort of situation, man. And the problem with it is you have to lock it up, and you can withdraw it, but the points is not going to be. They have some like point system, and you don't have the points for airdrops and this and that. So it's sort of tough.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I want DeFi Summer 2.0 as well, but I want it, and honestly, I want it in the form of Hollow World. I'm not even trying to shill Hollow World, but I do because I want it simple to where I can just talk in AI and like be like, hey, highlight me the best opportunities in the staking world right now, and it just brings me back a list. I'm like, all right, here's do a little bit more research, and it's like, all right, here's three that I think you really like, and then I can just do it in the chat right there, like super simple. I want that DeFi Summer 2.0 because I'm too lazy to do that heavy research on like everything else.
I do agree. I want that happening too, man. I do agree with you. Yeah. Unfortunately, I just hope some really big OG can do something like that and give us some like new gems and push up the market, hopefully, and
Yeah,
change
well,
the narrative.
I think that's kind of like the whole purpose of AI right now. Like the best thing AI does right now is it simplifies everything for us. And it's like, all right, now I've always wanted to get in DeFi. AI simplify it for me, and let me do it all right here on Hollow World in one little like chat or convo, and be done with it.
That's right. That is
Definitely. And what about any other coins in particular? Any meme coins got your site right now?
nah, bro. You know me. I'm sort of a little tired on the meme side. I've been dealing a lot on the meme stuff and the games and the community and checking out um, with the foundations and stuff, but not trading too much memes. And to be quite honest, in my past experience, when the market in a downtrend, memes is not really good. Well, like when the market is sort of going down for tractions and adjustments, um, don't think it's the optimal time for trading. So when the market stabilizes there or coming back up a little bit, that'd be good for trading with memes. That's my personal experience.
Definitely. And what about have you tracked this? There's there's a pretty recent hype, it seems like, of Telegram games and coins attached to them. Have you been watching that at all? Like, do you think it's gonna last?
I do so, yeah. And there was a few, but there's not just a few. There's tons of like, Solana, sorry, Tom-based memes and games, and mini games, and ever since the dogs, was coming up, and obviously it was listed on the exchanges too, and everybody's talking about it. And I suppose like most of us will get some level of airdrops. But Tron ecosystem is definitely one to stay and one to take off, of course, and given the infrastructure they have. And I remember distinctly, that was in March, and when a friend of mine was sending me a like some tethers on Telegram, and it was like super smooth. It was like super easy, and I was at that point. I'm like, oh, this shit is like so much like WeChat. So, and the payment system is like so fast, and so secure, and I don't think it's going like so secured. I wouldn't put it out that way. So be careful with you guys, because I don't think that is on chain, with that transactions. So but yeah, the infrastructure is so good there. And at that point, I think the infrastructure Tron has is better than PayPal, is better than Circle, is better than Facebook, is better than all of those traditional payment companies out there, and just so good. So it's definitely gonna take off. And now Tron is listed on Binance. So and for those creators out there, or developers or small teams, and work on Tron ecosystem will be good. Of course, connecting with us is always good.
Yeah, definitely. I actually had a question as well. I was curious. The one thing I haven't seen on Telegram specifically is anything really AI related yet. Have you seen any AI use cases on Telegram?
To be honest, I haven't, sir, and that's actually good because I wanted to ask you about that too. Most of chat is games, small games. They're fun, they're happy to play around with it, and it's easy to get your hands on it. But AI, not too much at this stage. What potentially could be the opportunity there?
Yeah, well, I think in community management, but also in games. I want to go on games real quick because I'm curious your thoughts before we leave off the games on Telegram. Because a lot of these games, they're all kind of the idle miners, the clicker games. And when I think about Web 2 and those clicker games, I don't think I could name any of the idle games that have lasted more than five years. And so when I think of like them having a coin and something I could, invest in long term, I just think about Web 2 and I think like, wait, all the best people in this industry that have made like millions on like the iPhone store or Google Play store, they don't last. So why would kind of a Web3 version that honestly isn't even as good, why would that last? Am I too bearish on that? Am I missing something here, or is that a correct line of
No,
thinking?
I think you're very critical, but which is right, and I think that is going to be a question everybody asks, but it's just like it's still too early, so people not really questioning the longevity of it, and the quality of it too, because people still have the hype and saying, oh, this is so cool, this is so amazing. Let me find out, let me explore it more, and potentially let me get some airdrop because there have been some level of stories there. Ever starting with Notcoin. Literally, Notcoin is nothing, right? I mean, it's no brainer. All you got to do is click on it, and so people have this hoping wish that it could be potentially meaning something to them. But what you say, I absolutely definitely right with you. And not just with those idle games, but also traditional AAA games. I couldn't even of course, I can think of one, but they're just literally one. I mean, I'm a fan for Call of Duty. And other than that, I don't play any other games for such a long time, and let alone with those idle games. So I think one of those questions that most people avoid, I would say avoid to talk about is, you know, most of the smaller games, it really depends on the genre or the category of the game, right? I mean, if you're MMORPG, then you're different. If you're a mobile game, then you can live a little bit longer. If you're a sandbox, then that's different stories. So at the end of the day, it really depends on the genre, the category of the game type, right? But coming onto it, to most of the cases, games, they have their lifespan. Some games, their lifespan is like 3 years, 2 years, half a years and stuff, and that is at that time. Yeah, at that time, by the time it got there, it's not going to be economical feasible to operate anymore. So the team will be forced to shut it down. Already, obviously, it's going past the prime days, and that is one of those issues. And second issues, most of the games in crypto market, um, their lifespan is so limited because they don't even have a business model. Like I want you guys to think about it for yourself, because most of the game you see, like they will have their tokenomics for sure, and they have their deflationary mechanism. They have this, they have that, but everything is sort of connected with the governance token, but they don't have their business model. I mean, if you don't have your business model, then how will you as a product be able to make money? All you gotta do is be able to dump the token, right? I mean, that is how you make money. So, and one of those things, and a lot of people, a lot of games avoid to talk about is the business model, how you maintain your longevity, how you maintain the business operation. So, this is the big question. Not, I'm trying to fathom some answers there too, sir.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm personally, I'm not even trying to take away from any games. In this space, you could still make money. Like I've seen so many narratives that I kind of could have guessed that would go to zero long term, and it doesn't mean people didn't make money off them in the short term. I just generally, as an investor, I try to look long term if I'm gonna be looking at anything. And when I see idle games, I just don't see the longer term play there. But it doesn't mean people won't make money off of it short term, especially if they have a coin.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're going to start winding down here. So if anyone wants to come up and talk about anything crypto or Web3, really, so we're happy to talk about AI, gaming. You got any questions about Hollywood? We're happy. Raise your hand. We'll have you up. Until then, I think, wasn't there something after gaming that we are going to talk about that you just asked me and I wanted to finish on gaming real quick? I forget what the question was.
We're just
Oh,
gonna let it go
I
with.
remember. It
Sorry.
was how AI's use case in Telegram, and I remember. So for that, I think it's simply community and managing community. I think community is always gonna want like moderators, and I think AI can replace that job as a moderator, where it's like kicking people for words or just simply like, hey, should we like have this chat do something? Like Telegram has raids right now. AI could handle that all, right? It doesn't have to be a person clicking a button saying, all right, let's raid this. You could have AI automatically do all that stuff for you. So I think AI's ultimate role in like community is kind of being what moderators already are, but in a different way.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm totally on board with you on that thinking. But now, I think we've covered enough, and obviously we got some update this week, and with the campaign, the voting campaign is still on with Wager, and it's there's still a lot of crystal left, and so I encourage you guys to go on and check it out, and stay tuned with our big updates, and what else you want to put out there and share with the people, sir?
Just the major update. I mean, this is going to be the biggest update you guys have seen in Hollow World since the launch, and we've launched a lot since then. So this update, we can't give it a time frame just because it is so big. We got to make sure everything is running right. But it is without a doubt the biggest update we've ever done. And so I'd say 2 weeks at the absolute most. We're clearly aiming for this week, but it could be one more week. Either way, no hard date set, but that's kind of what we're looking for. But it is without a doubt the biggest update you'll ever see from us.
Absolutely. So just stay tuned with us, and we always wanted to be able to share the latest, keep you guys in the loop, keep you guys think and entertained, make you guys happy. I know the time is tough, the market is tough. We all need to stay together, stronger, better, and the liquidity for the market is really, really tough, super tough for this week, to be honest, for this bull market cycle. So we have to put out extra efforts and extra hard work to be able to get to where we wanted. But we've got the products, we've covered enough, and there's a new product horizon. We're all looking forward to it, and always encourage you guys to check out the website with hollywoodai.com and try to check out the bot there and use it out and let us know your comments and your feedbacks, your advice, your criticism even because we need you. We need to interact with you. We're on the same page with you, and we cannot do this without you. So your feedback is very, very important to us. And let us know, and we're more than happy to connect with you guys and ask any question with Stay or with me, and we'll get back to you. But now, thank you for staying in, and we'll see you guys next time. Yes, sir?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone, and we'll see you next week. Adios.
Adios. See you guys.